Good morning, everybody, and today we are sharing my brand new submission for Bricklink Designer Program Series A. I've been hard at work at bringing this to life, and we're now entering the voting stage. So before I go any further in showing you the dig site, I want to ask for your support. We don't do this very often, but for the next 10 days, I'm going to be looking to get as much feedback and as much traction on this model as possible so that it has a chance to become a limited run production. Remember, in this stage of voting, there is no obligation for crowdfunding. It's just to show that you guys think this is cool. So head over to Bricklink using the links below. Check out as many models as possible. And don't forget to give the dig site a thumbs up to support us. But let's show you what I've come up with. This model is heavily inspired by the poetry of Percy by Shelley in Ozymandias, but also just captures a feeling of early 1900s archaeology and discoveries like the Rosetta Stone. This model is set in a red rock canyon, you might say, or maybe a red sand desert, and features parts of a statue long since forgotten, poking through the sands that are currently being excavated by our team of 9 minifigures. We have the head of the statue, which is actually embedded in this Pythagoras triangle at about 3 different angles, although this is done legally, and then also the hand that's sticking up and is currently being supported by scaffolding, again very stable, and both of them have secret rooms that we'll come back to in a second. The main gimmick of this set though is, as they've been going through their archaeology, there have been these stickers that are added to the model which feature ruins of an ancient language, and these can be translated using the secret crystal tablet which can be lined up over the top of the stickers to reveal these hidden messages, and this is the treasure that they are seeking. There are gems included, but the main focus is the discovery of language and understanding the culture of this ancient society. You enter the site through this hole in the cheek here, absailing down on the included piece of string, which brings you out to this ancient entrance room which features a skeleton here, perhaps the sculptor of the original statue. There's also some vases and urns and so on, and then you can proceed into the main room, which is where the crystal tablet is laying to rest. And then there's one third room around the corner which features the dedication of the statue, again one of these translatable secrets, as well as some more treasures for you to extract. Once you get the treasures out of the statue though, you can move them around the site using the working winch lift, which can go up and down to base camp, as well as transport them through the use of this wagon to take them back to the museum here. However, it looks like the dig site might be being influenced by someone else, as the Sam Sinister logo appears on some of these crates, because one of the optional features of this model is for you to change out the hair pieces on 2 of our dig site workers and replace them with bandanas to show that perhaps they are doing some smuggling. Not that we approve of that, that is an optional storyline for your integration. Around the back of the hand there's also one last secret room which features a crate which has a gem inside. This is supposed to show the astral ambitions of this old society, as there's some star murals on the wall, and around the other side is actually a reference to the Lego Mixels theme, where you have these 2 tiles that show Mixels coming together with a cubit to mix. Up in the hand is another one of these little writing pieces which you can decode, and again I'm not going to reveal any secret messages here today. And then there's of course all these scaffoldings that come around the hand and larger structure to show that it's being worked on and slowly dug up from the sand. You can see there's a variety of crates, one of which has a finger in, perhaps from the undiscovered hand. We also have these brickwork pieces because we're interested in more than just the gold and silver. And then inside these bigger crates here, we actually have this ice cream piece using to represent sort of styrofoam or protection of these terracotta pots which are being dug up. Actually from these 2 smaller dig site pits, one of which has some more pottery shards in it, and then the other one has some bones, not necessarily human bones, but just bones that have been found on this site. It follows a nice square base around the back, but also has these rocky outcroppings and archway, which I really love. I wanted to go for a heightened sense of reality in this model to make things more interesting while still feeling fairly grounded. And then the last big area we haven't talked about is of course base camp up the top, which has lots of tools, has this little outdoor tent here which has some sketches of what's going on, as our excavation lead is a bit more mathematically minded and is doing all these sketches of what it could look like even though we don't see the full statue, and is trying to predict where to dig next in order to discover more of the body based on how it had fallen and broken apart. Beyond these extra details, we have a magnifying glass to take a close-up look at some of the artifacts, and then there's a little tea set out here for our dig patron, who is a super rich moneylender who's definitely looking for treasure, but his heart might not be in the right place, but his money is useful to this dig site. So they can have tea outside here using this old-fashioned kettle, and then we've also got a sort of tent here for the workers to sleep in, although not enough beds in here. However, our workers seem more than happy and also have interests of their own. We have 5 workers in this set, along along with the wagon driver, and then the dig patron and the excavation lead that we've mentioned, and then the last figure is the museum liaison, who is here to check on all the progress, and perhaps he's liaising with the Natural History Museum set that we got in the modular line a couple of years ago, and if not, maybe he's linked to the adventurers or something else. There's definitely a lot of homage paid here to them, but also to the poem Ozymandias, as we mentioned, the Rosetta stone, and LEGO adventurers as a whole, I reckon, and just playsets. Hopefully there's a lot of design language that you remember from, of course, my work with the custom LEGO Zelda sets, and I hope that that approach to both play and display carries across and makes this a model that you guys think is worth voting for. If you have more questions, ask me down below and I'll be happy to make a follow-up video, but I wanted to keep this one nice and short. Be sure to go check out as many models as possible, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Remember, there's no strings attached. Please go and show some support for the dig site. I think it's a lovely model that I'd love to have a chance to turn into real life using the Bricklink Designer Program. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you again on Friday. Bye-bye.